Hello, this is Joe Wilkerson, and I'm back with old school boxing talk. We're going to call this one the return. Okay, since I've been gone, let me see. What have we had happen since I was last with you? We had Manny Pacquiao recapture a piece of the welterweight title. We we had just recently um Andre Ward defeat Sergey Kovalev. I watched the fight. I caught it on YouTube. I watched the fight without the HBO feed, which I would recommend if you're going to watch a fight on HBO. Get the Sky Sports. Get this. Wait for it. Get the Sky Sports announced team. It's much better, less and totally unbiased. Um, I personally had the fight scored 116-112 for Andre Ward. Um, and what I'm and of course the Pacquiao fight. There's no sense going in that because Manny Pacquiao beat Jesse Vargas as everybody thought he was going to do. And I mean, Jesse Vargas, I get he's a good fighter, but he's so freaking forgettable because I remember I was on here and I had to always remember what was his name, what was his name, what was his name. So Jesse Vargas, kudos, you got a payday, yay. 300 pay 300 and 300,000 pay-per-view buys done by Top Rank and for a Pacquiao fight. There was a pretty loaded card on that. Nonito Donaire showed what I've always thought for a long time that he was a shot commodity. And they moved him from featherweight back down to junior featherweight. And they try to protect him, but you can't protect him forever because you got to fight somebody legitimate. And when he fought this young boy on the Pacquiao Vargas undercard, he got his ass handed to him. Um, the kid from China, who's a three-time medalist, I think he's won a gold, a silver, and a gold. I think it's two golds and a bronze. Whatever. Zhao, he's really not that. He's 35 years old and he can't punch worth a lick, and he's not really that good of a boxer. Um, it is what they can protect him and maybe build him up to something. They're trying to build boxing in China. So if you protect this kid, I guess, and make sure he doesn't fight anybody legitimate, and then you vacate a title when one of the governing bodies actually make you fight somebody that can fight. The one guy he did fight that can fight beat him. So that tells me all I need to know about him. And of course, like I said, the Ward fight, Clarissa Shields made her pro debut and was very impressive in her pro debut. There have been not a lot of big news coming out of boxing. A lot of talk about different things, and I don't get involved in talk. I want to see it in the ring. And one of the things I'm upset about, very disappointed in, is the treatment of Andre Ward. And here's why. Name the last American male to win an Olympic gold medalist, win an Olympic gold medal. The answer is Andre Ward. What happened in this country where we began to treat our gold medalists like garbage? I mean, every guy that's won a gold medal from the past has been treated with respect and high regards. I mean, even if you go back to 76 team, all of those guys were treated with a lot of respect. Leonard, the Spinks brothers, Howard Davis Jr. Those guys were treated with a lot of respect. Were treated greatly. They were they were good guys. Then you had the '84 team. We didn't have an '80 team because in '80 we boycotted the Olympics because Russia invaded Afghanistan. So we didn't have an '80. So the Olympic athletes of 1980 got screwed by politics. But anyhow, '84 we had the team. Meldrick Taylor, Pernell Whitaker, Mark Breland, um, Terrell Biggs, Jerry Page, and of course Evander Holyfield, who was awarded a bronze and got screwed, you know. But these guys were treated awesomely. Okay, then of course in '92, Floyd came back with a bronze, and Oscar got the gold medal, and he was a golden boy. But Oscar was still treated great. Now, and of course after Oscar, the last guy to win was Andre Ward. So here's the thing: when Mayweather fought his way to being pound for pound the best fighter in the world, everybody had something negative to say about the way Floyd treated women, the way Floyd flashed his money, the way Floyd did this, the way Floyd did that, blah, 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 blah. And you didn't like Floyd. You respected his skill, but you didn't like him. You didn't like the act he put on. Here's a guy, Andre Ward, who should be everything that people say they want in their fighters. He's a guy, he's a God-fearing family man. Um, doesn't cheat on his wife. He's never involved in anything. The most controversial thing was getting out of that contract with Goosen. That was a very bad contract. That I don't know how James Prince, who was fired by Mayweather, and Andre Ward, somehow James Prince wound up leeching on Andre Ward. So give it up to James Prince, who managed to find a way to leech on to the best fighters in the business. But that contract there was bad. And Andre Ward missed time trying to get the hell out of that. And then after Goosen died, of course, the contract was, he made a settlement after that, and Andre Ward made the next big mistake, Mr. Prince, of signing with Rock Nation. I think that's a mistake. Just because Jay-Z's had success in some things don't mean he's going to be successful in everything. I would have rather he signed, stayed a free agent, and then with Al Heyman, and aligned themselves with Al Heyman, because I think Andre Ward would be financially in a better situation. He wouldn't have been out of the ring as long, and he'd be in a better situation, which just may happen. So Andre Ward, you people treat like garbage. He comes in there, all the man does is win. He hasn't lost a fight since he was 12 years old, and all you people do is complain. All you people do, you're now on social media bitching about, oh, we don't think Andre Ward won, we think Kovalev won, blah, blah, blah. I watched the fight. And I have a lot of respect for Sergey Kovalev. I've always said that, if Sergey Kovalev, the reason that Adonis Stevenson won't fight Sergey Kovalev is because he can't beat Sergey Kovalev. That if Sergey Kovalev fought Adonis Stevenson, that would be a 4-round fight. I think Kovalev will get rid of Adonis Stevenson within 4 rounds. But I also believe, and I believe then, and I still believe that Andre Ward would beat both those guys, and he's already beaten Kovalev. So now let's see that he gets the opportunity to beat Adonis Stevenson. Now, here's the trick. Andre Ward's contract with HBO is over. And once again, HBO has the best fighter in the world. The best fighter in the world. And because of the antics of those idiots, Jim Lampley and that idiotic Harold Letterman and Max Kellerman's stupidity, gutless, they're going to watch the best fighter in the world once again walk out their door. But hey, HBO's not. It's like, hey, we don't know. First of all, HBO is promoting this fight as pound for pound, and this is my thinking. Somewhere along the makers of this fight, HBO try to be slick and try to see if they can get an extension out of Ward and his people, and Ward and his people say, we'll get back to you. So then all of a sudden HBO starts saying, well, we don't know if the winner of this fight is going to be pound for pound number one. Why? Because HBO likes having that mythological number one pound for pound fighter on their network. Because they're pushing this Chocolatito kid up, and they'll push him up, and they'll try to make it their fighters. And it's funny that everybody else in the rest of the world says Andre Ward's the best fighter pound for pound in the world today. Now, when when I say everybody else, boxing is not just an American sport. It's a global sport. And the thing about it is the American boxing media has become so jaded, so biased, and so much in HBO's pocket that, like I said, they're doing things that are totally unethical, but they can get away with it because they're in HBO's pocket. And HBO wonders why their viewership is going down. Why people like myself, who used to buy, who used to get HBO only for the boxing, and I did. I only got HBO for the boxing. I would only get HBO and Showtime for the boxing. Um, I get now. I get everything. I get apps. I get streaming for everything. I don't want your damn package. I just. But I would never, and I mean this. This is from a guy who used to love HBO. I would never again, as long as Jim Lampley, Harold Letterman, Max Kellerman are calling fights for HBO, I will never again, ever, order HBO, their service, order any of their pay-per-views. I'll just wait and catch. Somebody will upload their crap and I'll catch it online. And maybe I'm hoping, just like with this fight, someone in the UK uploaded it and I got to hear the Sky Sports uh, announcing of the fight. And it was very good. Paulie Malignaggi is the best in the business today, folks. So this is what separates commentators. You got a guy like Paulie Malignaggi, and they were asking him questions about what happened. Paulie Malignaggi says, look, he gives you a perspective from a fighter because he's been in there. He said, I've been knocked down. I know what it's like. And you have to get up from that guy that's knocked you down. And you have to get up. You have to fight your way back. He said, that's the difference with Kovalev. He hits people, drops them, and they're looking to go home. Here, so after you hit Andre Ward, dropped them. Andre Ward got up and was like, okay, now we got to fight. And I watched both broadcasts of it. I watched HBO's biased-ass broadcast of it, and I watched Sky Sports' unbiased broadcast of it. And the scoring of the people that were there doing the scoring was totally different. The people calling the fights were totally different. The atmosphere was right down the middle on Sky Sports, whereas with HBO it was totally slanted toward Kovalev. The judges, they scored it for Ward. HBO wasn't happy. The first thing HBO wanted to do was get out there, we're going to rematch. And Andre Ward said, yeah, you have a rematch. But he said, we're not going to make no fight now. I'm going to go home and relax and get back on my team. We're going to do this. And that's smart. I'm hoping, and this is my wish to every talented young black fighter out there, don't fuck with HBO. Take your skills to Al Heyman at PBC, to Showtime, where the announced team is going to call your fights unbiased and equal right down the line. HBO, here's the thing, HBO's in the Eastern Europeans. HBO's always been a racist network. I remember their race baiting during the Holmes-Cooney fight. Oh, they were so sure that Jerry Cooney was going to beat Larry Holmes. Oh, they were so sure they were getting his champion. And Larry Holmes beat the bricks off of Jerry Cooney. And HBO hated Larry Holmes from the beginning. The only black fighter I believe the only black fighters I believe HBO truly loved were Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler. That's it. That's the list. They didn't like Lennox Lewis, but they wanted him because they wanted to have the heavyweight champion on their network. They didn't really care for too many people. They just wanted Leonard because Leonard was a moneymaker. Hagler was a moneymaker. Ali, of course, Ali was Ali. Shit. Outside of, they don't really care about black fighters. You had to have the Latino fighters who were rolling the lower weight classes, but they really didn't give a fuck about them too much. They just, okay, you're here, whatever, but you're, when Chavez was there, think about all the great fighters that came and gone and went with HBO and left HBO, came back. I mean, even Marvin Hagler left HBO for the Mugabe fight because he got tired of Bob Arum, got tired of that bullshit. They started fucking with Hagler for a little while. Bob Arum knows what they're about because they did the same thing with Manny Pacquiao. This is twice now during his career that Manny Pacquiao's had to leave HBO. He left HBO for Showtime to do the Shane Mosley fight. He turned around the Top Rank, had to do this 300K buy rate thing on their own. So, it is what it is. I'm waiting to see what the number for Ward Kovalev is. We probably won't get those until next week. But I would implore all young black fighters and even young Hispanic fighters, get the fuck off HBO because HBO don't give a fuck about you. HBO right now is into if the white fighters, and since no, there's not good American white fighters, they're on the dick of these Eastern European fighters like Kovalev and their bitch boy Golovkin and Lomachenko, who of those three, look, Lomachenko is a beast. I believe he's going to beat the bricks off of Nicholas Walters Saturday night. If Nicholas Walters wins this fight, it would be, in my opinion, it would be an upset. I don't expect Nicholas Walters to beat Lomachenko. I think Lomachenko is the real goods of all these Eastern European people. HBO suck, who's HBO's kissing their ass. Nicholas Walters, Lomachenko's a guy you need because Lomachenko is special. This cat is the goods. I respect the hell out of Lomachenko. I mean, think about it. Here's a guy that turned pro. Had one fight because he had to have a fight. Lomachenko wanted to turn pro and fight for a championship, but the wretched governing bodies wouldn't let that happen. So he had to fight. He fought a fight, beat the guy in his first pro fight. Then he wanted to fight in a beast in Salido. And of course, Salido came in overweight, roughed him up, but Lomachenko learned from that. He learned a lesson from that Salido fight. He came back, beat an overrated Gary Russell Jr. And that shows you how it's substance over quantity. Because Gary Russell Jr. was 24-0, but the thing about Gary Russell Jr. is 24-0. He didn't fight nobody. They protected the fuck out of Gary Russell Jr. And then he got in with Lomachenko and got his ass beat. Yeah, and he had one fight against a real opponent since when he won the WBC belt. But he hasn't fought nobody since. Gary Russell Jr. has a lot of ability, a lot of talent, but he's overprotected. And when he does step up to fight somebody real, he doesn't know how to deal with adversity really well because he's given all these cherries and all these. He's the definition of a cherry kicker. TBA, to be announced, is Gary Russell's favorite term because that's what all his opponents are, to be announced. He doesn't really fight too many solid people. And that's why he's good against these these C and D fighters. But he doesn't fight B fighters. Only fought an A fighter, Lomachenko, got the bricks beat out of him. Oh, he did beat a B fighter, and the guy he won the WBC title from. So there you go. Okay, you beat a B fighter. Yay. But you should have been fighting A fighters, so you can't beat A fighters. So, I am very disappointed in the way that Andre Ward has been disrespected by the American boxing media, by HBO, and, by a lot of these fans. A lot of fans, now, this is my thing. Being a boxing fan, you should be colorblind. Because, look, I don't root for a guy because he's black. I don't root for a guy because he's white. I don't root for a guy because he's Latino. I root for a guy that can fight. That has the skills, that has talent, that is willing to fight. That's willing to fight. The best guys out there that has the talent to do what he has to do. I root for guys that can straight up fight. I root for guys who, when you tell them that, oh, there's another guy in your division that says he's the best, say, hold on, bring that motherfucker on. Let's see what this motherfucker's made of. Those are the guys I root for. Lomachenko moved up to 130. The same guy to Salido, the only guy that beat him, Salido, had a draw and lost the decision to the cat that Lomachenko knocked out in 6 rounds. Lomachenko knocked him straight the fuck out. Beat his ass for 5, knocked him the fuck out in the 6th. Lomachenko is the real deal. So of all these Eastern Europeans, HBO's kissing the ass of, Lomachenko's the one guy I believe out of all of them is the best. Next it would be Kovalev, because look, I love the hell out of Sergey Kovalev. I love Sergey Kovalev. What I'd like to see is Sergey Kovalev's not going to get. He's not going to get the fight with Adonis Stevens, because Adonis Stevens is never going to fight Sergey Kovalev in a million years. He can't beat Sergey Kovalev. I'd like to see Sergey Kovalev, honestly. You've done the thing at light heavyweight. I don't believe a rematch with Andre Ward is going to turn out any different. As a matter of fact, I believe a rematch is only going to lead to you getting beat even worse. I believe Andre Ward just knows how to fight you. He's fought you. He knows what your strengths are. He knows what your weaknesses are. And I don't see you getting better and you doing enough to get better, to be better prepared for a rematch. than you were for this fight. You have deficiencies that Andre Ward exploited. I think Sergey Kovalev would do his best bet because I look at Sergey and I think Sergey is really having a hard time making 175. I think honestly it's time for Sergey to move up to cruiserweight where he could have a nice career because Sergey Kovalev's a big guy. So he needs to just move up. I think that cut down on 175 also might be draining him. So I would look honestly to move Sergey Kovalev up to 180, up to his cruiserweight, and start building my resume there because I believe that within a couple of years you're going to find. And then when I get my rematch award, do it at cruiserweight. Where I'm filled out, I'm bigger. And I have some time to improve my skills because I've seen against Chilumba when he fought Chilumba. I seen where Chilumba had moments against Sergey Kovalev when he used his jab, when he boxed him, where he exposed Sergey Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev, I saw a lot of weaknesses. I saw a lot of holes in his game, and a lot of those same holes that I seen Chilumba exploit. I seen Andre Ward exploit, and there's even some that Chilumba showed that Andre Ward didn't exploit. I think Andre Ward did enough in this fight to. Okay, let me beat him this time, but I've got a lot more I know I can do against him. Excuse me. And some fighters, when they fight you, they put a game plan together for you, and that game plan works. And when they fight you again, they look at all the things they did wrong and say, okay, we got to correct that. But they look at all the things they did right, and they look at all the things they could have done that he didn't do. Andre Ward, I believe, is that kind of guy. Andre Ward is the kind of guy that's going to say, okay, I know what I did wrong, which led to the knockdown, but I also know what I did right when I got the fuck back up, and I know what I could have done, and I know how I'm feeling. So, I think a rematch is going to be bad for Kovalev. I don't think he's going to... I think the rematch is going to be even worse for Kovalev than his first fight. I think it's going to be a rematch it's going to be a tough fight, but I think Andre Ward take control of the fight earlier. We've learned that Sergey Kovalev doesn't like it to the body. We've also learned that Sergey Kovalev at a certain time, he's a guy that when he keeps you at distance, he can use his jab, but movement bothers him. Movement on Kovalev bothers him. Like I said, the Chilumba fight angles bother him. Kovalev, he's a good fighter, but he's the kind of guy, he gives him angles, he gives him movement. He can't just fluidly go. He has to reset. You give him an angle and get him off his mark. He has to reset, and when he's resetting, you can fire and catch him, and get out. He has that weakness that a lot of Eastern Europeans have. Lomachenko doesn't have that because Lomachenko's just a freak of nature. This kid is just, oh my God, I love Lomachenko. Like I said, once again, I predict he's going to beat Walter Saturday night. No problem, hands down, no problem. I'd like to see us just get back to being boxing fans. Forget this bullshit about cheering on for fighters of this race or that race. Let's just go out there and cheer on the best flipping guys and hope to see them more. One of the things, we don't get a lot nowadays. We don't get a lot of our fighters fighting each other. We don't get not fighting each other, but we don't get a lot of our fighters fighting, period. Because maybe these guys will make like Keith Thurman fought once this year. Danny Garcia fought twice this year. And he fought one real guy in Robert Ghost Guerrero to win the WBC title. Then he fought some guy recently here in November that, is not even probably not the best fighter in his own damn house, and knocked him off. Okay, they're setting up his fight with Keith Thurman for next year, the beginning of 2017. Supposed to be that fight. Then you got the IBF champion Kell Brooks off his loss to Gennady Golovkin, which he showed us some things with Golovkin. Now he decided, I'm coming back to 47, but I want to fight a unification match with Manny Pacquiao. Wait a minute, Kell. You got a guy named Earl Spence Jr. who's your mandatory. How come all of a sudden now that Earl, you were sitting there when people say, hey, why don't you fight this? Why don't you fight this? I had to fight my mandatory. Now all of a sudden that Earl Spence is your mandatory, you're trying to find a way around it. So, we want to unify with Pacquiao. Here's the deal. I hope Earl Spence Jr. does not, and I repeat, does not accept any step aside money. Says, I'm the #1 contender. I want my shot. And either you fight me or you vacate the belt and then you go see if you want to make a fight with Pacquiao, go for it. Kell Brooks is saying, oh no, I'm not vacating my belt. I'm not this, I'm not that. I honestly don't think Kell Brooks wants to fight Earl Spence Jr. I don't think anybody really wants to fight Earl Spence Jr. He's talented. He's good. He's talented. He's a high risk, low reward type of fighter. But there's things we need to know about Earl Spence Jr. too. He hasn't answered any questions about the people he's fought. We don't know. Yeah, I mean, Earl Spence may be one of these guys like Gary Russell Jr. that he has all this ability and oh my God, he looks flashy. But the opposition, he's so high above the opposition that what do we know? Maybe he gets him with Kell Brooks and it's a different world. We find out, oh shit, this kid isn't as good as we thought he was. Or maybe we find out he gets him with Kell Brooks, gets tested, and we find out this kid is special. You know, we don't know. But I want to know. I think Brooks, he wants to know. I really think that Spence wants to know if he's special. I want to know if he's special. There's a lot of people want to know if he's special. You know, let's put it this. Here's the deal. Kell Brooks, here's the thing, Kell. You know, you're not, and I repeat, you're not going to get a fight with Manny Pacquiao. It's just not going to happen. They're not going to fight you. I'm sorry. They're not. Manny Pacquiao's people seem to be on the cusp that we're going to fight the easiest guys and make the most amount of money we can. That's it. We're not fighting any boxers. We're fighting straight ahead guys that plod forward and maybe have some boxing ability, but that Manny outspeeds. We're not fighting anybody who can actually box themselves or actually give Manny angles or give Manny movement and that can also punch. So, Kell, that kind of takes you out of the picture. Sorry, Kell. In that case, you're too good for your own good. So, fight young Spence. Because Manny Pacquiao's not fighting anybody. He's not going to fight Danny Garcia. He's not going to fight he's not going to fight the winner of Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to fight Crawford. That's just not going to happen. Manny Pacquiao at this point in his career, his people, Freddie Roach, Michael Pence, are not going to have Manny Pacquiao fight anybody legitimate. You could see, look, this is how desperate they are. They are trying to approach a 40-year-old Floyd Mayweather out of retirement for to fight 50th time. They're trying to approach a 40-year-old Floyd Mayweather out of retirement. That's how desperate Manny Pacquiao is. They figure if I'm gonna get my ass beat, I want to make some big money and get my ass beat. I'm not gonna fight young Spence to get my ass beat, and and maybe make a couple million, because what the hell, he only got what the fuck he got, what do you get, $6 million for this fight against Vargas. Got 2, I think Pacquiao got 6, some shit like that, and was supposed to give an upside of the pay-per-view and only did 300,000 buys, so you didn't get that big off the back end. So it just goes to show me also one of the things that I've also thought, and it's been said, and it's, is that Manny Pacquiao isn't as popular as people want to make him out to be, and why what they've done to draw up interest in Manny Pacquiao is always throw Mayweather's name there, and now they're even going as far as to throw little Lomachenko's name up in there. Oh, Manny Pacquiao can drop down to 135 to fight Lomachenko. Give me a break. Honestly, I don't want to see that fight. Because you know why? Because if Manny Pacquiao drops down to 135, Lomachenko beats the bricks off of Manny Pacquiao, which I believe he would, then there's going to be a scare. Oh, I couldn't. The weight drained me too much. And Manny Pacquiao, if you look at Manny Pacquiao throughout his whole career, every time Manny Pacquiao has lost, he's had an excuse. He's never lost and said, you know what, tonight you were the better man. He's never done that. To anybody that's beaten him, he's never said, tonight you were the better man. When Morales beat him the first time, he had an excuse. Then he beat Morales twice. Okay. When he lost to Bradley, there was an excuse. Anytime he's lost a fight, when Marquez knocked him the fuck out, he had an excuse. Oh, I had cramps in my calves. I couldn't leave. I couldn't move. Well, you jumped in there and jumped in on right hand. That's why you couldn't move. Anytime he's lost a fight, he's had an excuse for losing, not being. Look, man, tonight you were the better man. Floyd, oh, I had a shoulder. It with the shoulder. One minute we told a lie, said he hurt it in training. Then he modified it and said, oh, I hurt in the fourth round. And there are still people saying, Manny, no, you hurt this thing in training, because you still got people out there saying, I heard Larry Merchant on an interview say, oh, no, Manny couldn't spar for a couple of days because he hurt that shoulder. And they, and that's what I was told. And Larry, shut the fuck up. You weren't, you're a sheep. Larry used to be a goddamn investigative reporter. Used to, come on, Larry, you know better than that. Here's the bottom, and I respect Manny Pacquiao as being one of the better fighters of this era. I just think that as a fighter, when you lose, and you lose, whether you agree with it or not, when you lose, just be all right, tonight you're the better man. We'll try to run this back. I'd like, the rematch to see if we can run this back. And then you go back and you prove if you're that guy. Manny Pacquiao's not that guy. He loses, he's got 1,000,001 excuses. Had he lost to Jesse Vargas, it was already an excuse probably built in and made for him. He's not going, like I said, he's not going to fight Terrence Crawford. They've made that clear. They're not. I mean, HBO. That's one of the reasons HBO dropped him, was because HBO won that Crawford fight. And Michael Kuntz and Freddie Roach is like, no, Manny is not fighting Terrence Crawford. And they know, trainer knows what his fighter's good at. And Murad Muhammad, who's to promote Manny Pacquiao, who brought Manny Pacquiao, one of the guys who brought Manny Pacquiao over to the States, said we always kept Manny Pacquiao away from young black fighters that move. We always kept him away from boxers, because they knew then Manny Pacquiao can't handle a boxer. Manny Pacquiao needs a guy that's slow, that's right, that he's a faster guy. You give a guy that has speed, that has some, man, we ain't fighting him. That's why Manny Pacquiao, if you look at his career, he jumped over junior bantamweight to go right to featherweight. Junior bantamweight, you had Johnny Tapia there, you had Paulie Ayala there. Manny wasn't fucking with them. Manny jumped right the fuck over that whole division. No, too many good fighters jumped right the fuck over that whole division, went right to featherweight. Because Manny wasn't fuck with that. I mean, come on. Let's be real. Could you see Manny Pacquiao fight? What would you think Manny Pacquiao would have Manny Pacquiao against Johnny Tapia? Come on. Y'all know. Paulie Ayala. Come on. Y'all know. Them boys had too much. Them boys, Manny didn't want that work. Manny jumped right over that damn division. Jumped right over it, went right to featherweight. And then fought the weakest champion. He's never fought the top champion in any division. I mean, but look, okay, you're gonna say, okay, well, he fought Barrera. Barrera wasn't a 130-pounder one. Barrera wasn't, Barrera was pretty much on a downward slide when he fought Manny Pacquiao. Anybody says Manny Pacquiao fought Barrera at his best is full of shit. Manny Pacquiao has never fought any good young guy at his best. Manny Pacquiao fought these guys, man, on their way down. The same shit people say about Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd fought him at this point. Them motherfuckers were still winning fights when Floyd fought him. Shane Mosley had just won. People try to take credit away from Floyd about the Mosley fight, but now hold on, Mosley the guy that just beat the shit out of Margarito? After they caught that motherfucker cheating and Shane Mosley went in and beat his ass? Yeah, I believe that was. Yeah. Manny Pacquiao has never fought a single fighter at their best except for Floyd, and when he fought Floyd at his best, he lost. Tim Bradley was tailor-made for Manny Pacquiao. That's why he fought him 3 times. Because he's tailor-made. Tim Bradley's not a boxer. Tim Bradley's tailor-made for Manny Pacquiao. That's why he fought him. He fights guys that are tailor-made for his style. He's not going to fight a Terrence Crawford. He's not going to fight a Kell Brooks. He's definitely not going to fight a Earl Spence. He's not going to fight a Keith Thurman, because Keith Thurman, not only can he box, but Keith Thurman can punch. He's not going to fight a Danny Garcia, because Danny Garcia is a thinking fighter. Yeah, Manny might get an edge early on, but just like Amir Khan, Danny Garcia figures your ass out quickly, and then Danny Garcia starts setting traps for your ass, and Danny Garcia will knock Manny the fuck out. You're not fighting Danny Garcia. Manny Pacquiao's not going to fight anybody that can fight. Even that kid, Saddam Ali's not getting to fight Manny Pacquiao. They're going to choose Manny's next opponent very carefully. But that aside, I'm sorry, get off the subject and on a Manny Pacquiao rant. It's not that I'm anti-Pacquiao, just like I'm just tired of people just glossing, just disrespecting one fighter and glossing over the flaws of another fighter. Let's be honest here. Let's call it like it is. Let's look at the resumes. Look at what we have here, and then let's make our judgments on the eye test, not on what we've been told. Watch these guys fight. Read the resumes. See who they fought, who the person they fought, and then make our decision. Now, a lot of people up until the fight with Golovkin were not too sold on Kell Brook. After the Golovkin fight, you know how good Kell Brooks looked against Golovkin, even though Kell Brooks has a weak ass resume. The two best people he's fought on there was Sean Porter and Golovkin, and everybody else Kell Brook has fought, they're not that good. Um, but Kell Brooks showed against Golovkin he has he has skills, so he has a skill set. And maybe took that kind of fight, like Kell Brooks said, I can't fight these lower guys. I need, but that's all you've been fighting, those lower guys. But I need the big guy fights to get up for the big fights. Please get up for Earl Spence. All I'm saying, I just want to see, these guys at 147, it's a lower division, fight them. I'm upset that Danny Garcia didn't fight Andre Berto. I would like to, hell, I wouldn't mind seeing, I wouldn't mind, look, I would like to see, somebody fight Andre Berto. I mean, I think maybe Manny Pacquiao fight Andre Berto. No, he won't. No, Andre got too much skills. I would say Manny Pacquiao, Andre Berto, but Andre Berto got too many skills. Manny ain't fighting, and plus, Manny ain't fighting Andre Berto. I think Manny could beat Andre Berto at this point in his career, but Manny's not taking that chance. Now back to Mr. Ward. I hope that he does, now that his contract with HBO is done. Yay, freedom. I hope he goes, him and James Prince and the people at Rock Nation go make a phone call to Al Heyman and say, hey, Al, what's it going to take to make this Kovalev fight what is it going to take to make this Adonis Stevenson fight for the first part of 2017, and Al sits down and says, Al, hey, what do you want to do? Al said, it's not going to be on HBO. I'm gonna tell you that first, it's not gonna be HBO on Rock Nation. Go, I have no problem with that. Let's do the numbers and let's see what we can get done. And then everybody sit down and right back at Showtime. I mean, at the time when Andre Ward left, Showtime was the number 2 company. HBO was the top company, and then now the roles have been reversed. And it seems that for HBO, ever since Floyd Mayweather left, they really haven't. They really have gone downhill. I mean, what do you have left? What does HBO have left? Let me see. They got Golovkin, and they have Chocolatito, and they have Canelo. Oh, Terrence. I think they might have Terrence Crawford. I don't know. Maybe they better mend some fences with Bob. Maybe they mend some fences with Bob and get Terrence Crawford back. Well, I think they have because they got Lomachenko who's with them. And they got my man Lomo. They have a handful of fighters, but they don't have the fighters they would have had they not fucked over Floyd, had they not been so disrespectful to Al Heyman. Think about the fighters they could have, the fights they could have had. Oh my gosh. And now look at the matchups that can be made now. Darrell and Andre Ward were supposed to fight in the Super 6, and Darrell got injured. Maybe now Darrell gets himself back up. Darrell moves up to 175, gets his shit back together. We could see that fight. Either one of Darrell, both the Darrell brothers. I don't give a damn. You got James DeGale and Bile Jack, both those guys fighting. Maybe the Andre Ward says, hey, finish up your business. One of y'all, come on up here. Come on up here. You come on up here. Let's see what you got. And fights the winner, which I think is going to be James DeGale. I think James DeGale wins that fight. The WBO champ Ramirez, he's with Top Rank. Let's see what they do. Why haven't they? This kid, that's another guy that, you're not doing nothing with him. HBO needs to, do something with this kid. I've gone on here and I've said about the death of HBO and whatever, and I don't want to see the HBO go away. I just want to see HBO get its house in order, and it can start that by getting rid of some of these idiots that are calling up, they're running their boxing department. Number one. Number two, get rid of Jim Lampley, Max Kellerman, Harold Letterman. Bring some fresh blood in there that actually know boxing. And the thing, I'm tired of Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones being forced to just sit there and go along with this bullshit, and then they get on another outlet and tell the truth. And then, of course, Roy Jones has been removed from HBO so many fucking times, it's a shame. He's like, oh, Roy, you're fired this month. We'll slip Bernard, and oh, Roy, you're back. You know, because every time Roy Jones does an interview away from HBO cameras and tells the truth, he pisses off HBO and they say, oh, we're going to let you go because you didn't help the company in line. Like when they're, HBO's trying to build up Golovkin as a monster, Roy said, that motherfucker ain't never, Roy's shit. Roy's like, that motherfucker ain't fighting nobody. Roy told the truth. And HBO said, oh, Roy, we're going to have to let you go. Well, of course, then they brought Roy the fuck back. So it is what it is. I think HBO needs to get its house in order. And it starts with getting rid of all the people that are there that aren't doing the right things, especially that goddamn rotten-ass announce team led by Jim Lampley. Take the fucking show, The Fight Game. Here's an idea, HBO. You got a show called The Fight Game, right? Why don't you actually put a real fighter in there? Hey, why don't you see? I don't think there will be a conflict of interest. Maybe there will, maybe there won't. With Paulie, bring Paulie over there. Or matter of fact, if you make it unbiased, why don't you put Roy Jones and Bernard Hopkins in charge of that shit? Those are two fighters. You want to talk about the fight game? Put those two motherfuckers up in there. Let them do the thing for the fight game. Still keep your Michelle DeFoy and your other little people there, but get rid of Lampley. My God, get rid of Jim Lampley. The best thing I heard truth was for anybody that was associated with HBO was this. Larry Merchant, his words, Arturo Gatti was a high-level club fighter. Larry Merchant himself said that. You know what? I agree. And that's what pissed me off at the fight game. When you take a guy like, well, all the great fighters in the history of this sport now, and you decide to name your top 10 fighter, your top pound-for-pound list after a guy who was a top-level club fighter. That told me all I need to know about Jim Lampley and about what he thinks about what kind of fighters he wants. White fighters that just stand there and go rock 'em, sock 'em. Because think about this. If I'm going to have a top 10 list, I'm going to call it the Ali list. I'm going to call it the Sugar Ray Robinson list. There's so many great fighters. Armstrong list. There's so many great fighters I can name. Duran list. There's so many great fighters I can name a list of. And Arturo Gatti's not even a top 100 of great fighters I could name a list of that I would name a list after. Legitimately. If I did a top 10 or top pound for pound, whatever, Arturo Gatti would not be in the top 100 named of fighters I would ever do that to. And that tells you how much respect Jim Lampley has for any non-white fighter. That's Lampley. It's a goddamn shame. I'm surprised he named the list after Marciano. Honestly, I would have preferred if he was to go that way. Name it after Rocky Marciano. You want to say a blood and guts guy? Hell, there's Jake LaMotta. There's Carmen Basilio. There's Zales. There's so many great fighters you could have named that damn list. Not Arturo fucking Gatti. Come on. That's it for this one, and I hope to be back next week. Yeah, most likely I will be back. I'm not going to take as long off again as I did with this one. I didn't mean to go this damn long on this, my return. I didn't mean to go this long on this one. But I did, and I hope to come back probably next week after the Lomachenko victory over Walters. And we'll talk that one. Anybody have a problem with anything I say, please, or anything you want to hear me discuss, put it in the comments section. Email me. Shoot me an email, whatever. And we can talk. Till next time, it's Dope Wilkerson signing off.